Hey guys, welcome to Module 2. In this module, what we're going to be really covering is what kind of funnels and offer structures and price points work with both info and e-com offers and lead gen offers. I think even cover SaaS briefly. The main thing is we're just going to cover what's needed on the funnel and offer side before you run a YouTube ad. And if you already have something that's in line with this, that's great. If not, this allows you to adjust your offer so you have a higher chance of success with YouTube ads. So let's get started. So we're going to start with info offers, right? Like info products, courses, because I know a big part of the people who watch my content, etc., they're selling courses. So let's get into that. So the first thing is low ticket versus high ticket offers. So what I define as high ticket is anything that's over $997, and then there's like multiple stages. So there's like $997 to $2,000, which is where you can have automated webinars selling, and that's kind of high ticket, but it's not that high ticket. It's like medium ticket. I'll call that medium ticket. And then there's the price points of from $3,000 to $6,000 to even around $10,000, which is what you sell over the phone, and you basically get people on a phone call and close them over that. And then there's ultra high ticket, which might be done for you services. For example, my agency services, where the average lifetime value can get into $30,000, $40,000. And then there's obviously other kinds of high ticket offers as well, like masterminds, which are on the 25 to 30K point. So the main thing I want to tell you is you want to focus on high ticket unless you're an experienced marketer. Low ticket is only for advanced businesses and very experienced marketers. It's only for front-end lead generation. You only have a low ticket offer, which is usually defined as something that's like 47, 97, even up to 197. You only have a low ticket offer running if you're trying to acquire a ton of customers while breaking even at the front end, so you can make more money by selling them more expensive stuff on the back end. That's what you do with these front end offers. And honestly, that's not where I suggest you start with. It's great to do low ticket once you already have an established customer base, once you already have a great business, because it's just so much harder to make work. High ticket is so much easier to make work. Here's the thing. We have one client that does a low ticket front end offer. And the thing is, they are able to make it work really well. And the reason for that is because they are an experienced business and they're just using it to generate leads for their back-end offer. So you don't need to really start with low ticket, just start with high ticket and do low ticket at a later point. Companies like Agora use low ticket to generate a ton of customers, and then they sell them more stuff over and over, but they're just breaking even on the front end. They're not really trying to make money. So yeah, if you have a one-off $97 product, that's not going to work. You need to increase that to $997 or higher, and then maybe it will work. So that covers like the low ticket versus high ticket. Just go high ticket. Trust me, unless you've made a lot of high ticket offers work, don't even touch low ticket. Now I want to talk about something which is what I call the conversion rate paradox. For our webinar clients, their conversion rate with $997 auto-webby funnels from leads to sales. So let's say if somebody opts in for the webinar, the conversion rate from that point on is 2.5 to 3.5%. On the other hand, most lower ticket offers don't convert much higher than that. For example, we have a client who has a $97 offer with a bunch of upsells and so on. The AOV is around $200. It converts at 3% from leads to sales, right? While we have a $997 offer, which converts at 3% from leads to sales. So literally, I think the $997 offer was 5x more profitable. It's basically ultra profitable on the front end. But obviously, even if you do a little thought experiment, and let's say you have this $97 offer with upsells at converting at 7%, which I don't think is very realistic, then let's run a quick little experiment to see how that would affect things. If you spend $1,000 at $5 CPL and you got a 7% conversion rate on a $97 offer, you would get 14 buyers from 200 leads. You'd make $1,358. Now, if you spend $1,000 at $5 CPL and 2.5 conversion rate on a $997 offer, you'd make $5,000 in sales. That's a huge difference in profitability. Basically, because of that paradox where conversion rate doesn't really go down that much, even if you have a very optimized lower ticket front end offer, it's still usually the numbers don't look that great. The only reason you would want to do this is because you want those extra customers. Like let's say if you're at the lower price point, you have a 2x higher conversion rate or 2.5x higher conversion rate, you want those extra customers really badly because you just want scale and you can sell them more stuff on the back end. To make a $97 offer as profitable as a $997 offer, you need a 25% leads to sales rate, which is insane. I've never seen that for a $97 offer. Maybe like 6-7%. I've never seen 25%. On the other hand, I've seen 2.5% all the time for a webinar selling a $997 offer. If you just do the math on this, it doesn't make sense to go low ticket in like 99% of cases because you're not going to get a 25% conversion rate on your low ticket offer from leads to sales. That's just extremely unlikely on cold traffic. So go high ticket because it's just so much easier to make high ticket work. I don't know why this is true. I don't know why it works like this, but my theory is somebody who's willing to pay $97 is going to pay $997, while somebody who's not willing to pay a single penny is not going to pay a single penny, right? Usually you'll have a drop-off of some people who won't pay a higher price, but a lot of those people will. And that drop-off is minuscule in comparison to the extra money you'll make from the higher price point. So yeah, that's my rant. Go high ticket, please. Now let's talk about high ticket offers and the various types of high ticket offers. So there are a couple of different types of offers. There's broad and there's niche. So broad would be very big audiences, very big markets like how to lose fat, how to make money online, how to start a business. And the niche is something that's much more specific where you're targeting a specific customer type and solving a specific problem. So for niche, you'd have how to make nail salons more profitable, how to scale e-com brands with YouTube ads. Those are niche offers where people will pay a lot more money for that solution, but you'll have a lot less people. So broad offers are lower priced, massive scale, and with lower margins. So think of 1997 auto webinar offers, or Tai Lopez's $297 courses, and so on. These are automated funnels typically. They're going to a huge market and they make up for lower margins with massive scale. So even if the ROI isn't that amazing, just because there's so much being spent, you make it up with scale. Now in terms of the niche, you have higher price, lower scale, but higher margins. So you'll have something that's very tailored to a specific person, and it's going to cost something that's higher, like a $6,000 group coaching program, but it's going to solve a very specific problem for a very specific person, and you don't need to make that many sales. If you make 10 or like 15 sales a month, you're almost at 100K a month. While with the broad offers, it's just going to require a lot more sales than that. I'm going to talk about the high ticket matrix. So as you can see, there are 4 different parts of it, right? There's like basically what I define as medium ticket, which is $997 to $1997. I think that's still high ticket, but I'm just calling it medium so we can differentiate things. So that's $997 to $1997, right? And if you look at this, right, you want to pair it with the right audience, right? So in this image right here, you have a medium ticket broad offer. That's a green, aka that's a good thing, aka that's scalable, because you're going out to a very broad audience. So you have the volume to make up for the lack of margin because you're going at a lower price point. But if you go for a medium ticket niche offer, it doesn't work because it's going to be too expensive to reach your audience and you're selling them at a price that's too low for that problem. So for example, we had a client who was selling a very advanced e-commerce program, but his price point was $997 and he was selling an auto webinar. He was doing an auto webinar to that audience. If he had done a $6,000 offer and sold with a VSL and call funnel, which is basically get people on the phone after they watch a video sales letter, he would have done really well because he was targeting a small audience and basically hitting them with the offer that would be extremely beneficial. So with smaller audiences that are more niche, where you have a specific pain point, you want to go with a higher price point and that will work better. You'll have a really great ROI. But if you're doing a $997 to $1997, you want to go for a mass market offer. You want to go for big problems that are like everybody has, like how do you make more money or how do you lose fat? Now, if you're doing how do you lose fat, you probably have to do a lot lower price. So a really great course I recommend that goes way more in depth into this is Alex Becker's Iron course. But this is kind of my take on things, right? From what I've seen from him, what I've seen from Sam Owens, what I've seen from these other guys, as well as what we've seen in our agency. So basically with the $997 to $1997, you want to go really broad, you want to avoid the niche offers. Now for a high ticket offer. So with a high ticket offer, if you have a high ticket niche offer, this time around it's green because a high ticket niche offer solves a specific problem. These people have a real pain point It's very tailored to them, so there's going to be high conversion rate, and you can sell it over the phone, so you get a very high close rate on the phone, and you can sell it for a higher price point. Because if you're selling it over the phone, you can sell it for $5,000, $6,000. But if you're selling it with an automated webinar, it's going to be a lot harder to sell somebody on a $6,000 offer. And then the last one is high ticket broad offer, which is where, maybe you have a $4,000, $5,000 make money course that's focused on the broad mass market. That can still work. I actually have seen it work. I had a client that was doing that and it worked for them, but it's definitely a little bit tougher in terms of scale and also in terms of messaging, just because you're basically, when you're going with a broader market, it's a bit harder to get them to fork over as much money as, let's say, a niche audience that really has that pain point. But yeah, this is the kind of the high ticket matrix. Oh, and the last point I wanted to make is if you're in health, fitness, language learning, you probably want to divide these price points by 2 or 4. So for example, if you're in a fitness niche, I think even selling a program for $200 is pretty high ticket as compared to most people. So this is niche dependent. I'm just saying make money online because 90% of our clients are in make money online. So that's why I have an intimate understanding of this niche and the price points in this niche. All right, so let's quickly talk about the different types of funnels you can sell info products with. So the first type of funnel is the high ticket call funnel. As I've mentioned, this is used for more niche audiences to sell high ticket group coaching, consulting, and done for you services. This is where you send traffic to a video sales letter that they usually opt in to watch. You can also do this to a webinar. I've seen people basically combine a VSL and a Russell Brunson's perfect webinar formula as well.